all. And we'll start with today's class from the efficiencies associated with your centrifugal pumps. Okay, so let's write that. Efficiency associated with centrifugal pumps. Okay, so let me write a simple block diagram, which already you know this. Not how name this. And okay, so what will happen in case of a power absorbing machine? Right. So this is the energy supplied to the shaft. To shaft, and I do have the all kinds of losses, like the bearing losses or frictional losses and all. Then this is the energy available at rotor. Then we have all types of hydraulic losses. Then this is the energy available at the fluid. This is a simple thing which we already discussed in unit 1. Okay, if I call this as 1, this as 2, this as 3. So what are the different? Just we are relooking it into what we have discussed. The first type of efficiency what we have studied is already what the first one is the mechanical efficiency. And eta mechanical. This is the first type of efficiency what we look at. What is it actually? The mechanical efficiency is the ratio of the power available at the impeller or rotor, power available at the rotor, which in the bracket you can put that as impeller also, to power supplied to the shaft. Power supplied to the shaft or energy or whatever it may be. So this is if 2 divided by 1. Okay. So usually this efficiency will be roughly around 85 to 90%. So in numericals, so it's all numericals, if nothing is given, so there will be 10% loss, mainly because of friction or whatever may be other type of bearing loss or whatever it may be. This already we have discussed. Just I'm recap of all the points what we have discussed. The second type of efficiency what we come across is the hydraulic or few books they call it as vane or blade efficiency, or maybe sometimes they call this as manometric efficiency. All are same, all are different names, that's it. Okay, it can be hydraulic or the manometric efficiency. What is it actually? It is a ratio of the head available, that is head available with the fluid, that is energy available with the fluid, that is head, in terms of head I am speaking, that is the pressure head. The head available with the fluid to energy available with the rotor or impeller, that is also called as Euler rate. Okay, this is the head available at impeller or rotor. Fine. So this is also called as, what is that available with the fluid? That is your manometric fluid, a manometric head. What is the head available with the rotor or impeller? That's also called as Euler head. This is the energy available with the, this is also called as manometric head. Fine. So if I try to write in terms of mathematical, so this is Hm divided by, what is that available at the rotor? This is, I need to write in terms of VW2 into U2 minus VW1 into U1 divided by G. If VW1 is equal to 0, then what happens? This I can write it as manometric head divided by VW2 into U2 by G. If my wall velocity at the inlet is 0. So this will be your equation. So, or I can write Hm into G. If I take the denominator to the numerator, it will be Hm into G divided by VW2 into U. So that gives your hydraulic efficiency. Okay. Now the third type of efficiency what we have to look into is the volumetric efficiency. Volumetric. Okay. So this depends on the, this is the ratio of mass of fluid, maybe I can call it as going out or exiting the your pump. What is the output? I call it as output, that is the mass flow rate or discharge from the pump. So mass of the fluid handled by the impeller. So mass of fluid handled by the impeller or the rotor. Okay. So if I write in terms of discharge, this will be Q by, so delta Q will be, there will be some losses. So this will be Q plus delta Q. If I write in terms of mass flow rate, this will be m dot by m dot plus delta m dot. So here I am trying to handle the incompressible fluid, so it will be in terms of discharge. So instead of mass of fluid, that's the discharge, because the density is almost same, so it's an incompressible fluid. So the last type of an efficiency what we have to look at is the overall efficiency. And some of the books they call this as the pump efficiency also. So which is the manometric head to your, you can call it as, it is a ratio of, let me write, then we substitute, is the ratio of the manometric head to the power input or energy power input to shaft. Fine. So this is Hm by, so the power input to the shaft is what I am trying to supply at the inlet. I can call that as maybe P for the shaft. Okay. So what will be this number? Or already we have seen this is nothing but it's the product of your mechanical efficiency, your volumetric efficiency into hydraulic efficiency. And this number depends on, say for example, maybe I take a particular case where your mechanical efficiency is around 85%, volumetric efficiency will be around 90-95%. So this efficiency, volumetric efficiency will be somewhere around 90-95%. So 0.9 to 0.95. This is a rough number. And your hydraulic efficiency is something around 80%. So if I multiply everything, your overall efficiency will be around 60 to 70% or less than that, around that, in and around 60%. That means that overall efficiency clearly shows that is the efficiency under which your pump is working. Okay. Already we have seen in the unit 2 beta, the effect of beta 2 with respect to power absorbing machines. Fine. So I will show that. So that is called as analysis of centrifugal pump. Okay. So already you know that I have given that as an exercise. That is, what is the exercise actually? W versus Q, and the same thing, H versus Q. This was an assignment for varying exit blade angle beta. So this is your exit blade angle. Okay. So if I try to put the plot, so what is this actually? H, we have got this equation. What is the H equation? H you might have got, or W you might have got. H is equal to your U2 square by G, fine, minus U2 cot beta 2 by U2 into G. So you might have used this to cot it, that C1 is equal to U2 square. If you write in terms of W, this will be U2 square, and your C2 is equal to U2 cot beta 2 by A2 into G. So you have to put the Q. Yeah. So now, if without G, it is, I will get W. With G, I will be getting the corresponding height. So if I try to plot it, you might have got this. This was an assignment for you people. So this is, I have Q sand and either W or H. So I'll be getting all your plots will be, this will be your U2 square by G, and if it is a radial curved vein, so it is for beta 2 is equal to 90, and if my beta 2 is less than 90, I would have got this kind of a curve for beta 2 less than 90, and if my beta 2 is greater than 90, so my curve will be something like this. Already we have done this exercise. Just a recap of what we have done. So this exercise we have done. So there it was with respect to work done. So here we need to look into the corresponding head developed. And already slip and slip factor we have discussed. Slip is nothing but it is the reduction in the corresponding. So what is the slip actually? Just as one thing is with the head versus Q. Another one is, already we have seen, the other one is slip and slip factor. Slip and slip factor. Okay. What is the slip actually? It is actually sigma or whatever it may be. Sigma the slip factor, and it is the your difference in your roll velocity divided by your original roll velocity, that is delta VW2 by VW2. Delta VW2 is called as slip. Okay. Now, what is it actually? If I write only the exit velocity triangle, my exit velocity triangle it can look like something like this. So my exit velocity triangle, if I write, my exit velocity triangle may look something like this. This is my VF2. This is my VW2, and this will be my U2. Right? This is my V2, VR2, beta2, and alpha2. What we have seen that this whole triangle will get reduced. That is, VW2 will get reduced something like this. So this is my alpha2 dash. If this whole VW2 get reduced, actually what will happen? The impact will be something like it gets reduced. The whole velocity. I'm just trying to. It won't be that variation that big, but there will be some variation. A small variation of 5 to 10%. So this will be U2 dash, and this will be by VW2 dash. An impact on U2 as well as their impact on the world velocity. So what is the impact of this world velocity? So if there is a small change in this particular, the U2